Kerry, situated in the southwest region of Ireland, is a vibrant county with a deep connection to the 1916 Rising. Beyond the natural beauty of the county lies a colourful local history, which remains untold. Let's take a look at the role that both men and the forgotten women played in Kerry at this time.
The role of women in 1916 has been more or less overlooked and forgotten. Even the fact that Elizabeth O'Farrell brought out the surrender flag is only mentioned, that Nurse O'Farrell did it, and not the fact that she was a really important political activist prior to the Rising and after the Rising. And when you think about it, almost 300 women participated in the Rising itself out of 1,400 men. That was quite a significant amount when you consider at the time women weren't supposed to be really outside of the home or participating in the public realm at all. And of course most of them were members of commemoration and the Irish Citizen Army. Very radical women, some of them were socialists, some of them were feminists, some of them were feminist socialists. They'd been active campaigning for the rights for women to vote. They wanted to participate in the Irish cause, along with the men. They believed in Irish freedom. And of course the proclamation promised them that this new republic, which would be created, would be a republic in which they would have full and equal citizenship, the same as the men, because it says Irish men and Irish women. It calls Irish men and Irish women to the flag, promises full and equal citizenship regardless of gender or race or class or religion. I've been looking at the 77 women arrested after the Rising, of most of whom were in commemoration and the Irish Citizen Army. And of course you have the known ones like Countess Markievicz. Everybody knows Countess Markievicz. Very interesting woman, a fascinating woman. You have Nell Humphreys from Ballylongford. Nell Humphreys, who is originally Nell O'Reilly, the sister of the O'Reilly. She's also arrested. Her son and her brother are both in the GPO, and she goes in Monday and Tuesday to the GPO. But her house is on Northumberland Road. So she and her daughter and her sister Anna, who was also a member of commemoration, witnessed the very violent Battle of Mount Street Bridge, in which so many British soldiers are killed by the Irish volunteers who are holding that part of the town. And she's arrested on the Tuesday or Wednesday and imprisoned in a horse box in the RDS for the rest of the week, and then taken on to Richmond Barracks and then into Kilmainham. And she will become an activist for the rest of the War of Independence and is imprisoned again during the Civil War when she's anti-treaty. So we remember the O'Reilly, but what about his two sisters, Nell and Anna? I think they should have a plaque up on their old family home in Ballylongford as well. They were as important and as committed to the cause of Irish freedom as their brother. In fact, the O'Reilly credits his sister Anna, or Anno as she was called, with introducing him to the Gaelic League and to cultural nationalism, which then started him on that path to becoming one of the founders of the Irish Volunteers. And you had so many others. You had Kathleen Lynn, who goes on to found St. Ultan's Hospital for sick infants, Madeleine French-Mullen. You had overall about 300 women, most of them young, most of them under the age of 25, most of them unmarried, most of them working class girls. So these women were fully committed and fully eager to participate in creating this new imagined republic. What happens, of course, is not that. But at that moment, there was a moment of possibility that the women would get the vote, they would get equal citizenship, they would get participation in this new republic. That's what they were fighting for.
There's a lot of hidden history surrounding the 1916 Rising. Local participation played a significant role that's often overlooked.
With this centenary, it's the centenary of, let's say, the first stepping stone towards the foundation of the state. And the state is still very young, it's only 100 years old, so it's not quite within living memory, but you know, it's really only 3 generations to the foundation of the state. So it's still important as a validation, I think, to have commemorations like this.
I think it's very important to commemorate history as it happened and commemorate it properly, which I think the state is doing, and to give proper recognition to the people who died for us, who fought for us, and also to show, I suppose, respect for their families as well, and to thank their families and acknowledge their achievement. So I think it's very important that it's commemorated, but also I think it must be done properly. It must be done at a high level of professionalism, in an inclusive, respectful fashion, not in a triumphalist fashion. So I think that's all very, very important.
As these 3 episodes show, Kerry did play a vital role in the events and the 1916 Rising itself. From the landing of the Odd to the first leaders shot in Dublin and the importance of the local stories. These episodes show that not everything of importance happened on the streets of Dublin. Irish men and Irish women fought for freedom from all over the country of Ireland.
It's all our story. We need to look at it locally, nationally and globally. It isn't just a Dublin thing. It needs to be all of our stories, all Irish people claiming that story and seeing it in its contexts, all its contexts. So it's vital.
Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which she receives her old tradition of nationhood, Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for freedom. Having organised and trained her manhood through her secret revolutionary organisation, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and through her open military organisations, the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizen Army, having patiently perfected her discipline, having resolutely waited for the right moment to reveal itself, she now seizes that moment, and supported by her exiled children in America and by gallant allies in Europe, but relying in the first on her own strength, she strikes in full confidence of victory. We declare the right of the Irish people to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies to be sovereign and indefeasible. The long usurpation of that right by a foreign people and government has not extinguished that right, nor can it ever be extinguished, except by the destruction of the Irish people. In every generation, the Irish people have asserted their right to national freedom and sovereignty. 6 times during the past 300 years, they have asserted it in arms. Standing on that fundamental right, and again asserting it in arms in the face of the world, we hereby proclaim the Irish Republic as a sovereign, independent state. And we pledge our lives and the lives of our comrades in arms to the cause of its freedom, of its welfare, and of its exaltation among the nations.